there are those who say, the North Koreans are incorrigible, they're unforgivable. We can't have anything to do with them. We just need to cut them off. We need to impose sanctions, and we need to, ready ourselves for war. That's one approach. The other approach, the other historical, way of looking at it is to say, well, look, there isn't much we can do about them unless we're engaged.
To North Korea now, where the regime is mobilising secret squads of enforcers to stamp out foreign influences. What does that mean? Richard Lloyd Parry is the Times' Asia editor who's got the story. What are they clamping down on, Richard?
Well, what they're clamping down on is any trace of foreign influence. And the foreign influence they're most worried about is from South Korea, because, of course, South Korea and North Korea share a culture, they share a language. And in recent years, more and more South Korean culture has made it into North Korea. I mean, North Korea is an extremely isolated, very repressive country. But these days, with DVDs and increasingly memory sticks, uh, South Korean TV, South Korean dramas, South Korean music, K-pop has got into North Korea, and North Koreans love it. And the North Korean government is very concerned about this and has created these so-called non-socialist groups to crack down on this and give people a very hard time.
How does it get into North Korea, given how tightly controlled they seem to be? How are they accessing? How are people in North Korea accessing K-pop?
Well, it is very isolated and cut off, but it's not completely impermeable. I mean, there always has been. It was, interrupted by the COVID pandemic, but there has been always a kind of to and fro across the border with China, which is a long land border, rather porous, and people going, across that to trade, to visit people in China, have brought back with them DVDs, to some extent, even videos, but now more and more these tiny memory cards, which are just very, very small indeed, very easy to hide. And on those, one of those, you can pack gigabytes of films and TV and music, and people are taking this and listening to it on their mobile devices.
And I suppose it's a bit like when sort of pop music sort of got across the Iron Curtain. That actually the I'm not suggesting that the wall around North Korea is about to come down, but it's a particularly in terms of mobilising young people into realising what's going on outside their country.
Yeah, I mean that's a very important point, and that is central to the debate about what to do about North Korea. I mean, to simplify it, there are broadly two schools of thought. There are those who say, the North Koreans are incorrigible, they're unforgivable. We can't have anything to do with them. We just need to cut them off. We need to impose sanctions, and we need to, ready ourselves for war. That's one approach. The other approach, the other historical, way of looking at it is to say, well, look, there isn't much we can do about them unless we're engaged, and we shouldn't only be pointing our weapons at them and imposing sanctions. We should be getting our hooks into them with the information war. And people who are old enough, like me and maybe you as well, will remember that when the Cold War came to an end, part of the reason for that was that, as you say, Soviets and East Germans were able to see Western TV, and they were able to get Levi's jeans and watch MTV, and they wanted more of that. So what many people say is this is what we should be doing with North Korea, is not completely cutting them off, but putting our arm around them and embracing them and injecting into their veins the information virus, because once that has taken hold, you can't shake it off.
It's really interesting. Richard, thank you for that. Richard Lloyd Parry, the Times Asia editor.